First and foremost, we want to give call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Is your brother, Taz upon your ban Yahweh.
Brother Azamak Ban Yahweh.
And basically, we're about to go into Daniel 9 and 7. The confusion of faces breakdown. I've heard throughout the Israelite community that there's been a teaching going around that this confusion of faces is talking about Israelites that look like other nations that we have been scattered abroad and scattered among, which it's true that Israelites vary in, what shade of brown they are, physical features, big eyes, wide lips. All Israelites don't have that. But through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we have to get the context of confusion of faces. We got to start going into the Hebrew, right, to see what it's actually saying. So let's get that. Daniel 9 and 7.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee,
Righteousness belongs unto the Most High, right? Read.
but unto us confusion of faces.
But unto us, the Israelites, confusion of faces. Read.
As at this day to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem
Go ahead.
and unto all Israel
So this the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, right? All Israel as a collective. Read.
that are near and that are far off.
That are near and that are far off. The Israelites that stay in Jerusalem versus the Israelites that are scattered among the nations, right? That wasn't even living in the land at that time. Read.
Through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass,
Because of their what?
because of their trespass,
Because of their trespass. Read.
that they have trespassed against thee.
That we have trespassed against the Most High. Transgression of the law, right? That's what brings upon the confusion of faces, man. It's shame, man. But let's just go ahead and get that to prove it in the Hebrew, right? Let's get that. Belong of confusion of faces. This is Strong's H 1322. Go ahead and read that out.
The outline of biblical usage: shame, shame, shameful thing. The Strong's definition: shame, the feeling and the condition as well as its cause, by implication specifically an idol, ashamed, confusion, greatly, put to shameful thing.
All right, now give me Daniel 9 and 14. Let's skip down to 14.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 14. Therefore has the Lord watched upon the evil and
The Lord has watched upon the evil, right? Read.
and brought it upon us.
And brought it upon us, our iniquities, right? When we go against the Most High, He brings atrocities on us, right? To chastise us, correct? That's where that shame is coming from. That's why we have confusion of faces, man. Read.
For Yahweh, our power, is righteous in all his works, which he doeth. For we obeyed not his voice.
For we obeyed not His voice. So what happens when we don't obey the Most High? He has to chastise us, right? He has to put His foot in our ass, right? Send you into slavery. Scatter you throughout the nations, so you can learn your lesson, correct? Give me Jeremiah 3 and 25. Boom. All right, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 3.
Go ahead. Take your time out.
This is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 25.
Read.
We lie down in our shame.
We lie down in our what?
In our shame.
We lie down in our shame. Read.
And our confusion covereth us.
And our confusion covereth us. Right? Read.
For we have sinned against the Lord our God.
For we have sinned against Abanawa Yahweh, right? So that confusion that confusion that's covering us is shame, man. We lay down in our shame. Just like when we got casted out of heaven, man. We got casted out of rulership, put out of the land, right? Once we were rulers and now we're not. The head has become the tail, right? because we had to go into captivity for what we've done. We had to pay our debt into the Most High. And that's a prophecy. And we know that anything the Most High says, his word won't come back void, man. So that means it's going to happen. It has to happen, right? Okay, then. Give me Jeremiah 2 and 26, and we're going to read to 27. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 26
Uh-huh.
to verse 27. As the thief is ashamed.
As the thief is what?
Ashamed.
As the thief is ashamed. Read.
When he is found.
Uh-huh.
So is the house of Israel.
So is the house of Israel. All you Israelites. Blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. Read.
They, their kings, their princes, and their priests.
What else?
And their prophets.
27.
Saying to a stock.
A stock is a tree. Read.
Thou art my father.
Thou art my father. Go ahead.
And to a stone. Thou hast brought me forth.
Thou hast brought me forth. So that's going into that idolatry, man. You worshiping trees. You worshiping that wood and that stone, man. Read.
For they have turned their back unto me.
For we have turned our back against the Most High. Read.
And not their face.
And not their face. Go ahead.
But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us.
And ain't that what we do all the time, man? When the atrocities the Most High puts on us, you know what I'm saying, start to basically get too much for us, then we want to turn to the Most High. Oh God, help us out of this situation, right? When all we had to do was listen to the Most High in the first place, and we wouldn't be ashamed, man. We wouldn't have that confusion of faces, man. So you can understand. Give me Deuteronomy 28:36. Quick precept. There we go.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 36.
No, chapter 28, verse 36. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king
this is a prophecy, right? Read.
Which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
The nation being the heathens that we're going to be scattered amongst, right? Read.
And there shall thou serve other gods. We
shall serve other gods. Read.
Wood and stone.
Wood and stone. That's going to that stock. That's going into that stone we was just reading about in Jeremiah 26, Jeremiah 2 and 26, in the 27th verse, right? So yeah, that's how that shame comes upon us, because it was prophesied that we were basically going to break the law. You know. Now let's get Psalms. Psalms 44, and we're going to start at 14.
14?
Yep.
This is Psalm chapter 44, verse 14.
Read.
Thou makest us a byword.
Thou maketh us a byword, right? Read.
Among the heathen.
Among the heathen. These are the people that we are scattered amongst, right? Read.
A shaking of the head among the people.
Don't that sound like something shameful, Hawk? People look at you, you know what I'm saying? They look down on you, right? And how does it feel when somebody's pointing the finger at you? You feel ashamed, correct? Go ahead, read 15.
This is verse 15. My confusion is continually before me.
My what?
My confusion is continuously before me.
My physical features.
Confusion is continuously before me. And the shame of my face has covered me.
And the shame of my face has covered me, man. So y'all can clearly see, anytime it says confusion, shame is not that far behind in the same scripture, man. We got to get these things in context, right? Give me Deuteronomy 4 and 27. And we're going to read 28.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
This is that prophecy, right? Read.
And ye shall be left few in numbers.
Ye shall be left few in number. Read.
Among the heathen.
Among the heathen. Go ahead.
Whither the Lord shall lead you.
Give me 28.
Verse 28. And there ye shall serve gods.
And there you're going to break the law. there you're going to serve other gods, man. And we know the Most High Abanawa Yahweh is a jealous God, man. Right? We're not supposed to be serving nobody, nothing on earth or in heaven above that's not the Most High, man. Right? Read.
The work of men's hands,
The work of men's hands,
wood and stone.
wood and stone. This is going into idolatry, man. Right? Read.
Which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell.
This is why you're ashamed, man. The Most High God is a living God, the only true power. We went from serving him to serving rocks and stones and all type of madness, man. Okay? That's what brought that confusion of faces upon the Israelites, man. That's what got us in this condition that we in right now, man, amongst other things, right? So let's skip that. Let's go to Romans 6 and 19. And we're going to read to 21.
This is Romans chapter 6, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
I speak after the manner of men.
I speak after the manner of men. Read.
Because of the infirmity of your flesh.
The infirmity of your flesh, man. Your flesh is what causes you to sin, man. Read.
For as ye have yielded your members.
Ye have yielded your members.
Servants to uncleanness.
Servants to uncleanness. Read.
And to iniquity.
Iniquity. What is iniquity? Transgression of the law. Read.
Unto iniquity.
Uh-huh.
Even so now yield your members servants to righteousness unto holiness.
So you got to make a conversion, right? You got to stop being a damn idolater. You got to stop being an adulterer and turn unto righteousness. Turn back to the Most High. Turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Read verse 20.
This is verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
For when ye were the servants of sin.
For when ye were the servants of sin. In past tense, right? Read.
Ye were free from righteousness.
Ye were free from righteousness. Go ahead, 21.
Verse 21. What fruit had ye then in those things?
What fruit had ye then in those things? Read.
Whereof ye are now ashamed.
Where ye are now ashamed, man. The stuff that you was doing made you shameful, man. You know, you having sex with another man's brother. I mean, with another man's wife. And with another man's brother for all you homosexuals out there, man. It came out right. You know, lesbianism, people around in the Christian church, Roman Catholicism, Muslims, so-called black Muslims, you know, celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter, all this madness, you know. It makes you shameful, man. It's sin. Okay? That's it on. Oh, finish that out. Finish that out.
All right.
Just take it from the top.
From the top. This is Romans chapter 6,
Verse 21. Uh-huh.
What fruit had ye then in those things whereof ye are now ashamed?
Ye are now ashamed. Go ahead.
For the end of those things is death.
For the end of those things is death, right? Sin brings death. Sin also brings the confusion of faces, man, which is that shame, man. Okay? Let's precept that. Give me Matthew 7 and 16. Let me get it too, so they can see it on the screen. All right, go ahead.
This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 15.
16. Start at 16.
16, so 16. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits.
Ye shall know them by their what?
By their fruits.
By their fruits. Read.
Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Read 17.
Verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
So good trees bring forth good fruit, but
a corrupt tree.
But a corrupt tree, an idolatrous tree, an adulterous tree, right? Read.
Bringeth forth evil fruit.
Bringeth forth evil fruit. And we also know that in the so-called New Testament, it tells you, you know, basically when Yahweh put spit on a man's eyes and then he wiped it off, he said, I saw trees as men. I saw men walking as trees. So we know these trees are representing men and nations, right? Okay. And your fruit is your works, man. what you do, right? And that confusion of faces has been coming upon Israel because we've been sowing bad fruit, man, from transgression of the law, right? Go ahead, read 19.
This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down
Is hewn down
and cast into the fire.
and cast into the fire, man. We've already been hewn down, and the rest of you niggas and Hispanics, man, are going to be casted into the fire, man. ICBM nuclear fire, man, if you don't get right, right? So let's end off in Daniel chapter 9, verse 8. We're going to read to 12.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face.
To us belongeth what?
Confusion of face.
Why is that? Let's keep reading.
To our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
Because we have sinned against thee. So the only nation that people can go to actually say it's a sin for you to deal with is the Hamites, right? Those 7 Hamite nations that's talked about in Deuteronomy 7. That's the only place a person can tell you, you know what I'm saying, that it's law, that's a law for us not to deal with those nations, right? But what about all the other nations? Is it unlawful for me to go plant my seed in a Moabite woman? David, who did that? Not David, Salakia. Boaz did it. Ruth, right? You know, is it wrong for me to go out here and get me an Ammonite woman? Is it wrong for me, according to the law, for me to go out and even get an Edomite woman for that matter? Now, I'm not telling you should do that, but it happens. You know, Jake been planting his seed in all these nations that he's been scattered around, man. You know, the confusion of faces is not talking about physical features. It's not talking about, you know, somebody like Blake Griffin's son, you know, that's a Haitian looking like a little white boy. OK. It's talking about the confusion of faces is shame, man, for our transgressions. And we're seeing that because through our precepts do we get understanding. Bring that out again, man. Start from the top.
Start from the top? Okay, this is Daniel chapter 9, verse 8.
Read.
O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face. To our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers.
Go ahead.
Because we have sinned against thee.
Because we have sinned against thee. So what brings on the confusion of faces? Our sin, man. Read verse 9.
It's verse 9. To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
Though we have rebelled against him. That's why we're covered in that shame. Verse 10.
This is verse 10. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws.
Why you stop?
Which he set before us by his servants, the prophets.
By his servants and prophets, right? Read.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
All Israel have transgressed the law as a nation. Read.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
Right. Read.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore, that curse is poured upon us. Right. Read. And that's talking about the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Okay. Read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
In the law of Moses. That's taking you back to the Torah, right? Okay. What Deuteronomy 28 is written. Read.
The servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Give me 12. We're going to end with 12.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 12. And he has confirmed his words, which he spake against us.
Which he spake against the Israelites. Read.
And against our judges.
Against our leaders.
That judged us. By bringing up on us a great evil.
A great evil, right? Read.
For under the whole heaven has not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem.
And that's why we're the most shameful nation walking around on the face of planet Earth, man. You know, nobody's going through more than blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. but it's our fault, right? So that confusion of faces that we got is because of what? Our transgression against the Most High and his law, statutes, and commandments, right? So confusion of faces is not talking about Israelites looking like other nations. Through the precepts, we get understanding, and we just saw that it's talking about shame, man. Okay? So with that, we want to give call, halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and say shalom.